Hello everybody, welcome back to the Mermaids Cave. I'm Leslie Leveson and we are on a dazzling crazy quilt adventure together. Just a little public service announcement: if you haven't gotten your pneumonia vaccine and you're over a certain age, please go get it. I was out for 2 weeks with pneumonia, but now we're back and we're stitching again. Today we're going to be doing a capuchon with a peyote stitch, a bezel around it. Okay. So this one, I've done this one in number, starting with number 10 beads, and then, or starting with number 11 beads rather, and then going up to the delicas, like so. This one, we started with a number 8 bead, which is what I'm going to actually be demoing today, and then going up to the delicas. So you start with a larger bead and you work your way up to a smaller bead. And then this last example is actually done with, started with a number 6 bead, which is a rather large seed bead, and then worked up to the delicas, the little tiny beads. Now, if you don't have any rubies or emerald capuchons hanging around your house, by all means, go to your favorite dollar store and get yourself a bundle of these for whatever your dollar store is charging these days. Our dollar store here is up to $1.25. You can get them in all different colors. You can get them opaque, translucent, clear. The one that you see, the one that you don't see here actually is clear. It's supposed to be like a magical portal. That was a little sample that I made for a class. Here's another example. This is a needle case that was gifted to me, and then I think this is a Sudbury item. Doesn't say, but I inserted this velvet piece with the capuchon stitched on it like so. And then another example is this is another one where I used a clear capuchon, and you can actually see the design of the fabric through it there. Okay, so to get started, you're going to take your glass marbles. Oh, one more thing before we start. If you are doing something really specific and you want to make sure that your capuchons are very exact, you can get calibrated capuchons from Fire Mountain Gem, so that they all come, this was a variety pack, but you can order them so that you have all the same size, round or oval, and they're exact. The glass marbles that you got in the bags are very random, and they're not all the same, and they're not even all perfectly round. Okay, to start off, we're going to glue one of our capuchons down on the fabric or on your crazy quilt block that you're working on. And I use tacky glue, Eileen's tacky glue. It dries clear, so if you do get a little smear or something, it's not the end of the world. I've got 5 number size 8 beads, and I'm alternating my colors. So I've got brown, pink, brown, pink, brown. And the way we do this is you're just going to lay your beads around the capuchon and take your needle down. Pull it through, and of course I'm using a beading needle with 9mo thread. Okay. And now I'm going to come up, excuse me, still getting over the pneumonia. I'm going to come up between, I've got 5 beads on there. I'm going to come up between the 3rd and 4th bead. Just bring my needle up. And then go back through the last 2 beads, the 4th and 5th bead. And you just want to pull that snug. Okay. So you're going to work all the way around your capuchon, putting on your alternate bead colors. And what we're doing here is what's called an even count peyote stitch, meaning that when we get all the way around to the other end, there will be an even number of beads. I think it just makes it a lot easier to learn the peyote stitch this way. And I've also, in classes, I've discovered that it's much easier for students to get it when you alternate your colors. Okay, so again, I'm going to come up between the 3rd and 4th bead of my last 5 and go out through the 4th and 5th bead. Okay, so that's the first step of your peyote stitch. Once you've got that all complete, now we're going to start to add the next row. See, I thought I had every single sample set up with a beading needle and thread. And of course, there was one that didn't have it. Okay, so now, so I've completed my whole round here, and I make sure that I maintain that every other alteration. That dark light, black, white, blue, green, whatever your color combination is. Just make sure you maintain that. I'm going to bring my needle through a couple of the beads, and I'm going to come out of a brown bead. Doesn't really matter which one you start with first. Okay, so I'm coming out of a brown bead, and now I'm going to put on another size 8 bead, but this time I'm using a 3rd color, so I have a green bead. And I'm going to skip over my pink bead and just go back through my brown bead. This is why I say if it makes it easier if you have alternating colors, because it helps you keep track of what you're doing. So now it's kind of simple. You're just going to go in and out of your brown beads with a green bead on the thread. So I'm going to put another green bead on and go into my brown bead. So it starts to look like that. And you just want to keep a good tension on it. Okay? So that's round number 2. Round number 3. Okay. So now I've got my green beads all the way around. I'm going to put my last green bead on. And go in through. Now, this is the end of that row. So what I do is I go into my last bead, and then I step up and bring my needle through that green bead. Okay. So now I'm on my 3rd row. And I want to keep pulling it tight. Okay. For my 3rd row, I'm still going to be using a number 8 bead. So I think I'll go back. I'm going to use the bright pink beads. And again, I'm just weaving the next row of beads in between the green beads, in between the previous row. Okay. I hope you can see that okay. I'm just going to pull that tight as I work around. Okay, so I'm going to keep working around, going all the way around. And then I get to my next row. So now I've got I've got my original row, I've got the row of green beads, and then the row of pink beads. So now I'm going to change bead size. I've come out of the first bead of the pink row that I put on. Okay. And now I'm going to go to a size 10 bead. And I'm going to go in and out of the previous beads that I put on. Oops. So you can see there's my little bead right there. I'm going to keep going around. And as I go, I'm pulling it in so that it starts to enclose the cabochon. Even though the cabochon is glued on, we still use the beadwork to really keep it there. So you can see that little purple bead is coming up on the side over here. Go all the way around that. Excuse me. So now I've got my next stage is complete with the purple beads. And again, I've come out through my purple bead. I'm going to go into the last bead. And I did that already. Okay. So here I have my purple beads. Now you can see this cabochon has like an iris, like an eye in the middle of it. Just the way they come. Now I'm going to go to a number 11 bead and go through each of the previous row with that bead. And we're just going to continue around all the way around until we get back to where we started, and then we'll step up through that first numbered 11 bead that we have on there. Okay, getting close to the end. So here I have all of my blue beads on there, my size 11 beads. I've come up through the first blue bead that I put on, so I stepped up, and now I'm going to go to my delicas, which are these tiny, tiny little beads, but they have big holes in them, so not to worry. You don't need to get a very small beading needle. A size 10 beading needle will also work in them. So now I'm going to weave in and out of my blue beads using my delicas. And again, keep it tight. Sorry about the shaky hands. I don't know if it's because my doctor has me on all kinds of interesting medications for the pneumonia. And I'm just going to keep working that around. And you work that all the way around. Excuse me. When you get to the end, when you're ready to end off, you simply take your needle and kind of slide down through all your beads along the side until you come to the bottom. And then just go back to the fabric and end off your thread. Okay. Now, one thing you can have fun with is, and this is something I learned from watching Yvonne Williams's YouTube channel. It's called Back to Earth Creations. You can buy the cabochons like from the dollar store, or if you want to be exact, you can get the calibrated ones from Fire Mountain. And you use cheap nail polish, dollar store nail polish, and paint on the back of the cabochon. And then when you turn it over, you have kind of an interesting picture. You can do dragon eyes. You can do all kinds of cool things. This is what your finished... This is what your finished cabochon would look like if we start out with the number 8 beads like we did. And it's kind of a lot of fun to do. And I think I did mention that you could also do it with acorns. I think I said that in the very first episode, that you could put anything on a crazy quilt, including acorns. So here is an acorn that has been bezeled with a peyote stitch. The little flowers around it are antique embellishments, antique flowers. I have a lot of vintage stuff that I've collected over the years. So it's been fun. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about peyote stitch, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments. I will always answer. And see you next time. Bye-bye for now.